So we have finally made it to our house. We have moved in and I am super excited. Hey everybody, Ketwolski here, checking in with another one of our hashtag Earl Grey Pour Up video discussions. Today we've got a number of topics to kind of go through. I'm going to be talking about a quick update regarding Lower Decks' international release. I'm going to share my first impressions to the digital premiere that I attended yesterday. And we've got a quick little bit of news regarding the possibility again of Star Trek Discovery Season 4. So those of you who have been following me around this trilogy of videos, or this saga of videos really, of my wife and I moving ourselves to our new location here in Texas, we have finally arrived at our new location. This is not the final studio setup. This is just what I have right now, which is the camera, this nice new captain's chair, and these little lights. And that's really all I've got because right now the rest of the studio is in shambles, mainly because I haven't gotten all of my desk parts yet, and all of my extra little knickknacks and this and that items haven't arrived yet. So over the next week or so, I'll be setting up the studio and getting everything kind of the way it's going to be in the future. But right now I wanted to get a video out, but so that's why it looks a little bit kind of crazy. Okay, so first up, in regards to the international release of Lower Decks, I know this has been a hot topic and a lot of people have been really concerned about what's going on with the international release. And Mike McMahon addressed the issue just the other day, finally, even though he probably wasn't supposed to talk about it, but he finally shared what the real issue was in regards to the international release of Lower Decks, which essentially relates back to the COVID-19 coronavirus situation. So if you guys remember, Star Trek Discovery was actually supposed to air before Lower Decks, and a lot of people, including myself, theorized because of the delays from coronavirus and people weren't allowed to go to the office and finish up the editing and the soundtrack and all the special effects, that Lower Decks was going to get pushed up, and that does seem to be what occurred. Apparently, it has been moved up 2 whole months before it was originally supposed to be released, and the international distribution rights had not finished negotiating. Essentially, that's really what it comes down to, and there is a lot to think about there, right? Because is it kind of a big FU to international fans of like saying, well, sorry, tough noogies, you're just going to have to deal and let all the US and Canadian folks watch it? Yeah, that is definitely one part of it. The other part of it, too, is that CBS is not stupid. They are aware of the fact that by doing this, they are increasing the likelihood that people are going to pirate the show, illegally downloading it, and then just sharing it out. And that's going to hurt their revenue on the back end once it actually does get released internationally for everyone to actually watch it and enjoy it that way. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot happening, and I understand why they did it. It's to kind of get Star Trek back on the map, to kind of get the show released, and to keep the content creation piece happening for CBS All Access. It is frustrating for the international fans, and I do understand that, and I know a lot of you are going to take the show down, download it illegally, especially considering how good it actually is. So those of you who follow me on social media, you do know that I was live tweeting out kind of yesterday that I finished up the premiere that I got invited to by CBS. Out of the blue, I have no idea how I personally got that. I feel like I kind of like snuck into the premiere because there was all of these fucking crazy people there that are super big names, and then you've got my random having self just sitting there like, hey, how's it going? I'm here, you know, and it was very weird, but I was like, all right, but the whole atmosphere, it was like essentially like a YouTube live stream, and they had the video playing and there was live chat happening and people were just laughing and having a good time, and it was really fun. Like the actual event itself was really great. My overall feelings about the episode, which was a surprise because we got to see the first 2 episodes, not spoilers, I'm not getting into any plots or anything like that, is it was great. I loved it. I was really blown away by just how good the show actually was. Somehow or another, through the capabilities of animation, Mike McMahon and his team were able to really capture the classic Star Trek vibe by making things seem a little bit more self-contained, a little bit more kind of, I guess you could say, positive, and push it next to a comedic entertainment element. And I say comedic entertainment because it's not like slapstick jokes. The trailer made it seem like everything was going to be slapstick jokes and it was going to be constant jokes. And that really wasn't the case at all. Like, it blended really well with an A and a B plot story for both episodes. We got a lot of information about all of our characters. None of the characters are the way that you think they're going to be. None of them acted the way that they were represented in the trailer. Again, the trailer did not do a good job with how advertising how the show actually is at all. It did a terrible job at it. All of the characters acted very differently. We've gotten so much information about all of the new characters, and really it was great. Like, it was just so great. Like, I was watching it and it occurred to me like, man, you know, this is actually kind of fun because I haven't actually had a more fun and exciting adventure story of Star Trek. Like, Discovery is super like epic ending, sci-fi universe stuff. Picard was this more darker kind of character-driven story, and then this is very disarming. They're like, here's these characters, they're going off on these wacky adventures, they're just doing simple little things like going around and doing different things and this and that, and it was just very disarming. Like, I wasn't concerned while I was watching it. I wasn't concerned about, what about the uniforms? What about the phasers? Where's the ship at? What's going on with the neutral zone? Why are they wearing this particular outfit? They're talking about this, but it happened in this year. All of those things just fell by the wayside because honestly, the show was just entertaining. It was so entertaining. There was a couple of laugh out loud moments. I don't really laugh out loud that much at shows, specifically like a show like Rick and Morty, which I love Rick and Morty, and everyone's comparing the show to Rick and Morty. I don't laugh a lot at Rick and Morty. I find it comedic entertainment because it's just fun to watch. It's fun to watch these characters go on that adventure, and that kind of, in that sense, it is very similar to Rick and Morty, in my opinion, because it's just these characters going off on a fun adventure that you're just, observing and watching. It is in by no way comparison to the zany jokes and all the randomness that occurs inside of Rick and Morty. It is very grounded in the possibilities that could have occurred in Star Trek. And honestly, a lot of the jokes and comedic elements are things that people have sat around, Star Trek fans have sat around for years and laughed about and joked about. And again, I don't want to talk about spoilers of what happens in the show, but when you see these episodes, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's literally just built around, it felt like just people sitting around laughing and kind of just like having like a drunk watch through of a Star Trek season and making all these little kind of funny little jokes. And then somebody was writing them down and then they made a television show about those things. And it's really funny and it really works. It's just very entertaining, classic Star Trek vibes. I'm hoping that people who are on the fence about Picard and Discovery, but really just even on the fence about this show, give it a chance. I saw the first 2 episodes. The first one was really good. The second one was fantastic. I encourage everybody to wait through to the end of the second episode to really get a feel for what the show is. It had a good feel-good ending on both of the episodes. Characters were supporting each other, which I think a lot of people weren't expecting. Very, very supportive cast members, between everybody in there. And really just the crew itself worked really well. Just the Lower Decks team that we got to kind of hang out with and their interactions with the senior staff. And it was really great. Like, I really enjoyed it quite a bit. Again, I'm not being paid for my endorsement in any way. There were no strings attached to this invite. I have no idea how I got invited to this thing. It was probably a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. So, of course, I jumped on it, and I love it. And people are still going to call me a shill and that I'm just spouting off all this nonsense because, they invited me to the premiere or whatever it is. That's fine. You want to feel that way about me? That's totally fine. Do that, but give this show a shot. I'm telling you, if you did not like Discovery, you did not like Picard, give the show a shot because it has the elements that I feel like a lot of people were looking for that Picard and Discovery were not trying to do. That's not what they were trying to get at. This is much more classic Star Trek vibe, and they make it into a fun animated format. And there's a lot of zany, wacky things that do happen within the context of the show, not like Rick and Morty level, but within the context of the show. And it works very well because of the fact that it's animation. Like, there was a very large set piece of something that I immediately saw because it was a reference to an old TNG episode, and it would not have worked in a physical set piece. It only worked because it was in an animation format. And like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's funny. This is going to be great. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. And of course, it was set up to be this big joke, but it would not have worked really in a physical set piece, but in animation, it worked great. So they're really capitalizing on their capabilities here. And I feel like they're bringing a lot of the lessons learned from all of the different animators and the different people who ran other animation comedic shows like From Mike McMahon. And they're really putting a lot of that effort into this show. And honestly, it's great. It's really great, and I'm sorry that the international people have to wait for so long to watch it, but I absolutely encourage everybody, even if you don't even like my stuff, like, I really encourage, I cannot recommend it enough. Give it 2 episodes, really give it a shot, and really go ahead and try to enjoy what's happening on screen. All right, so that's enough all about my, love affair with the Star Trek Lower Decks right now. Another thing I want to talk about very briefly, which is a very small note in regards to Star Trek Discovery Season 4. So you guys know that I am, of course, theorizing about that. I was right on the money about when they were going to release Season 3, which is the middle of October. And I'm currently theorizing that they're going to be announcing the Season 4 renewal around that same time based off of quite a bit of information. I have a video linked up above. You guys can go check out all of the production notes and bits of information there. So there's a lot of supporting evidence already being built up. And I've got one more bit of supporting evidence that I wanted to share with you guys again today. So some of you guys may remember when I originally broke the whole situation with Strange New Worlds, the Captain Pike series, I did that by looking at people's LinkedIn profiles and like private meeting stuff that they posted up on Instagram and stuff like that, which is a whole separate problem. But LinkedIn profiles played a big role into that because people had marked on there that they were working on that show. So what did we do here? Well, and Mur, I don't know how to pronounce the names, you guys know how I am with names, posted up on their LinkedIn profile that they are, the first assistant art director for Star Trek Discovery Season 4. So again, this is just another one of those things that's kind of falling into place. This is very much similar to how all of these other shows were announced and kind of shared out with everybody. All of these pre-production elements were kind of being put into place, and we were able to identify them, and then the shows were released. We did that with Discovery Season 3, we did that with Picard, we did that with Strange New Worlds, and now we're doing it again with, Discovery Season 4. So to me, it definitely feels very obvious that we're going to be getting a fourth season. I think people who are saying we're not, I think just don't want a fourth season, but ultimately the reality does appear to be like we are going to be getting a fourth season. Right now it just seems to be like, when are we going to get the announcement? All right, guys and gals, that of course does wrap up my video for today. I will be doing an actual review and breakdown of Lower Decks Episode 1 after the show actually airs, so you guys will be able to get my thoughts on what actually happened in terms of plot and spoilers and all that jazz. But again, I really did enjoy it, and I hope that you guys and gals enjoy it too, but I am curious to hear what you think about the international release situation. Do you buy the whole COVID situation, or do you think that there's something else going on? And are you pretty confident that we're getting a Discovery Season 4? I'm curious to hear what all of you guys and gals think about that. Get your comments up down below, and we'll go ahead and get the conversation started. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies!